Welcome to the next in-depth guide. Today we'll be looking at Riot Troopers. Let's look at the unit card first. Riot Troopers are an odd unit. On paper nothing really stands out and most people think Charge, the ability to perform a free attack after a standard move, is their best keyword. Surprisingly, Hold the Line actually is, which in melee gives you a surge to hit and surge to defend. We will look at this in depth in the tactics and heroes synergy sections. However, the short of it is that Riot Troopers have the best delaying squad in the game, which is where Hold the Line really shines. What really lets the Riot Troopers down, however, is their courage value, and that they can't take an officer, medical droids, or the R4 astromech. There are ways to get around the courage value, but it will be a constant pain in the ass. Lastly, it's important we mention that they have a black attack dice in melee, with the suppressive keyword. The suppressive keyword has a lot of synergy with Hold the Line, however it can be a bit of a gamble to see it pay off. We'll cover this as well in the tactics section. So how many Riot Troopers do you take? Oddly, 1, 2 or 3 is a good number. It really depends on what you're taking them with, and if you're taking them you should definitely be taking other units to support them. If you don't list build to support them in your list, I highly suggest you take none. But I can't stress this enough, with the right support, they can absolutely deny your opponent's units from scoring victory points or even attacking other units in your army. Hero Synergy. The best heroes to take with Riot Troopers are Moff Gideon and Commander Vader. Moff Gideon is by far the best hero to take with Riot Troopers. Not only does his 3-pip, Moment of Consideration, benefit Riot Troopers massively, his inbuilt Ruthless keyword, the ability to wound a core trooper to give them a free action, puts Riot Troopers into overdrive. If you're considering Riot Troopers, I would always put Moff Gideon in your list. Let's look at his 3-pip command card, Moment of Consideration. You gain a free standby token on each order given with this card. It works really well with Riots as they want to be sticky to the units they are engaged with. Basically, you play this card when 2 or more Riot Troopers are already engaged with units at the start of the turn, meaning your enemy can't withdraw with the said unit and shoot you with others. There will be more on this in the tactics section. Now to Ruthless. Do a wound to a core and get a free action is arguably one of the top 5 best keywords in Legion. Obviously this can be used to move 3 times with Riots, however it can also help with their low courage by still allowing them to take 2 actions. You can take this to the extreme by using an LAAT or the Occupier tank, using the transport keyword and then using Ruthless on the squad. Commander Vader helps Riots by sharing his infinite courage and having Compel Core Trooper. This basically overrides any issues with your low courage. His only command card that benefits Riots is New Ways to Motivate Them, basically giving you Ruthless on any orders you give out. But you're almost always better off using this card on other units than Riot Troopers. Recommended loadouts. The standard Riot Trooper loadout is to take the KX series security droids, adding 2 models and 2 red attack dice, which with surge to hit in melee gives you an average of 4 to 5 hits for the squad. You should never take the Stormtrooper Marksman upgrade. Not only is he ridiculously expensive points wise, you never want to be using his ability as it goes completely against what you want your Riot Troopers to be doing. Gideon Hask is also worth a mention, as he brings Coordinate which can help with Ruthless combos, but your aim should be to keep Riot Troopers under 100 points. There are a few other upgrades to consider as well. Tenacity should be stable to Riot Troopers unless you're squeezing points in for another unit. Tenacity allows you to Ruthless and gain the benefit from doing so. While you lose a model, you gain a red dice over a black dice, taking the average damage to almost 5 hits. Into the Fray can be a decent pick as well. While odd as Riot Troopers surge to defend already in melee, they can be very prone to units withdrawing from them or by force push upgrades. These can help to mitigate any strategies the opponent tries. Recon Intel should be considered as well if you're not transporting Riot Troopers already. Emergency Stims. Riot Troopers are one of the few units in the game that I recommend experimenting with this upgrade. It basically stops force users from auto-removing 2 models with PS2, at least until you activate with them again. This allows the Riots to still threaten whatever they're in melee with, and it gives you a choice of moving medical droids closer to heal them if necessary. Riot Trooper Tactics. Despite the name and imagery, Riot Troopers are a super aggressive unit. The basic tactic is to move as much as possible and get into melee. This is what most people see when they look at Riot Troopers. Averaging only 4 hits means you are not a damage unit, and I can't stress this enough, no matter what you take in the Empire army, Riot Troopers will never be damage dealers. They are, however, fantastic at locking down key components of your opponent's army. If you can get them into melee with the correct units, you will see them shine. Let's take a look at some examples. Riot Troopers want to engage anything with Courage 1 or tie up any high value shooting from your opponent's army. The suppressive keyword means that if you do attack a unit with Courage 1, more often than not, they will only get to withdraw with their one action, preventing withdrawing and then standard moving onto an objective. This can be taken further with standbys, meaning that you can chase the unit if it's trying to withdraw. This is why Moff Gideon's 3-pip is beneficial, as you get the standbys before the enemy units can activate. You are almost always better off taking a dodge standby when you're in melee already, unless you have a supporting unit of some kind nearby. Now let's take a look at Moff Gideon's transport combo. First, you need a list that has 2 Gav tanks or 2 LATs, and to take at least 2 Riot Troopers transported inside them. This will give them a free order turn 1, and you will still want to give your transports orders turn 1 with your command cards. Your last 5 acts of the turn should be in this order. Moff Gideon double moves into an area of the board where the transport will unload the Riot Troopers, and can be in range to ruthless them. Go with the transport and drop off your Riot Troopers. Then use the remaining move of the vehicle to block line of sight to your troops. Next, go with your Riots, ruthless first, then triple move into anything on the board and attack with charge. Repeat this again for the other transport and Riot Troopers. If you do this correctly, Riot Troopers have a 5.5 threat range from your board edge, and will end up in melee turn 1 with your opponent having little resources to counter it. This is an extremely powerful strategy and will almost guarantee bitching from your opponent if they're not aware of the combo. A very important note here is that if you're using LAATs or LATs, you have a threat range of the entire table with Ruthless. How to counter Riot Troopers. First, shoot them. Obviously the easiest way to counter them is to ensure that they aren't benefiting from the hold the line ability, but as you had no doubt heard in the last section, that can be nearly impossible. Second, use pierce melee units on them, or units that can get 10 hits reliably in melee, trying to overwhelm their surge of defense. Third, use standbys on multiple units to shoot the Riot Troopers as they charge across the table. Fourth, position wisely. If Riot Troopers are going to be able to charge you, try to do it as close to objectives as you can. Failing that, layer your units so you can support what they charge in the following turn. Fifth, remember not to use so many resources when dealing with Riot Troopers. They are probably the least threatening unit in the Empire army, and the Empire player will see them as expendable. I hope you have found this in-depth guide to Riot Troopers informative and helpful. Leave a comment if you think I missed anything, and a like if you enjoyed this new style of video. As always, none of this would be possible without our amazing Star Wars Legion community. Till next time, remember, experience outranks everything.